that's the thing. I always felt like I was just liberal. I was right in the middle, you know? Like, I don't care if people smoke weed. I don't care if people are gay and they get married. I don't care about this. It's none of my concern. Do you? But I think now when it's like you don't accept like 20 genders and you believe that like people should be able to like believe in like God, shouldn't make fun of God. I think like when you do that, you get automatically classified as like a conservative.
Yeah,
my point, my main thing, the reason I want to talk about it. Recently, Kamala Harris did a rally where it was very performative, and it kind of like got me going a little bit. And it's weird because I'm not black, so I can't speak on issues like I am black, right? But from my perspective, and you can tell me from whatever you see, it almost feels like because she had Megan Thee Stallion there twerking and shit.
Right.
Then she had Quavo talking about gun violence, which is super like weird because Quavo's gonna jump on a rap song and be like, "I'll shoot you in your face," like. So it's like super contradictory to his entire music. I'm sure they just gave him a check and he just showed up, which I don't respect at all. But this is what it feels like. It felt very pandery, and it almost felt like, oh, we're gonna get Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo to speak to, because it was in Georgia, I think, to speak to black people, because it almost felt like, oh, black people are gonna be dumb enough to fall for this and vote for me. That's what it felt like. Even she went as far to do a little black scent, and it's like, you don't speak like that, right? It'd be one thing if she spoke like that naturally, but for her to go and she's like 2024, y'all, we gonna win this. I'm like, yo, that's crazy.
And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're gonna do it again in 2024. Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
It's
that's crazy.
Here's my
and everyone went crazy.
Right. Let me let you finish your take, and then I'll go.
It's like, what are you doing? Do you think it's almost insulting for me, from my opinion? If someone did this from an Asian perspective, I'd be like, this is so fucking insulting to Asian people. You think that just because you're gonna bring Megan Thee Stallion, she's twerking, you're gonna put on a black scent, and you're gonna bring Quavo out, that I'm gonna fucking vote for you? You think like I'm that stupid? So it almost feels like insulting. Like you think black people are that stupid that they're gonna vote for you based on this? Because Trump was winning the black vote. Black people are not stupid. They see what's going on in the country. They see like everything, what's good for them, what's not good for them. So for her to like do all that, it's like you're pandering. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get like a black vote by being like, yeah, I'm black, I'm Kamala Harris. But it's like, do you think black people are stupid and just gonna fall for it just because you're black and you try to like black it up, that they're gonna fall for it and vote for you? I don't know. It's insulting. That's my opinion. That's what I view. But I want your thoughts, because again, I'm not black, so I could be completely like wrong here, but that's my thought process.
So first, I'll put the precaution being that I've always said I'm not a political person. I just look at what it is and I call it down the middle, right? So essentially, this was almost the same thing, same game plan that was played from when Hillary was running in 2016. All of a sudden, you go to miscellaneous different sort of city. You now have some sort of inflection in your voice to where now you try to identify with the people that are there. For those who remember 8 years ago when Hillary was saying she keeps hot sauce in her purse.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you getting information right now?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce in my bag, swag?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yes.
Now listen, I
yes.
just want you to know, people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people again.
Okay. Is it working?
Now all of a sudden, here Kamala, which not 4 years ago, 8 years ago in 2016, I think it was the Associated Press? No, it was Rolling Stone, where it says very first Indian American appointed, senator, whatever the fuck the case was, governor, whatever the case is. Now all of a sudden, 4 years later, now you're black. It's the same publication. You've changed the headline. That's crazy. And you can't change up history and activate revisionist history because it's verified.
If we're gonna go back even further,
right?
There's one where she's debating Joe Biden. I don't know what.
Debate.
And Joe Biden cooked her ass. This is when he was cognitive.
Right.
He cooked her ass. He was like, it's like there's all these segregation policies that Kamala is like. She was like a prosecutor or something. She's the one that like widened the divide between widened the divide with these like segregation policies. So it's like you didn't do anything to fix it. But now all of a sudden you're like black and like you stand up for black because you're pandering to a specific vote.
Right,
it's like
because
you're only black when it's good for you.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's where I have the issue because, for example, like you bring out Megan Thee Stallion to come and perform. Okay, right? Now, granted, there was performative acts from both sides. If you take a look at the RNC, they brought Hulk Hogan. They brought Amber Rose. But I would look at it from the perspective of if we're talking about politics, I think ultimately the candidates should lean with policy rather than all of this other stuff. But when I look at the performative act, right, because it's not to say tit for tat, like, okay, Amber Rose and Hulk Hogan versus Quavo and Meg Thee Stallion. Meg Thee Stallion comes out, performs, right? Of course, you have the provocative dancing, but that's part of her shtick. That comes with it. That's going to be what it is. Quavo comes out, talks about gun control, stuff like that, right? Hulk Hogan does a whole performative stuff afterwards and then says, rips his shirt off, all this other stuff. And then Amber Rose gives an impassioned speech about she felt as if she was brainwashed or whatever. Yeah. I think there's a time and a place. And furthermore, when there's a time and a place for these type of performative acts, how is it put forth? Because there's an ethic image as a black person that's put forth in the media, and now it's continuing to be pushed through the Megan Thee Stallion, through the Quavo and all this other stuff, because it seems very, very hypocritical. Because if you have musicians who in their music is talking about violent acts or talking about drugs or whatever the case may be. Now, granted, Quavo has range, but let's call it what it is. This is still part of the music. Meg Thee Stallion, you're performing songs about provocative sexual acts in the midst of a presidential campaign. Like, what are we doing?
It's like, what do you think? Like, I don't know. It just seems racist to me. It's like, oh, you think like black people are gonna like, oh, twerk. Like, if I were a white person that works at a label, I'm like, yo, black people are gonna love this. Let's just get Megan Thee Stallion twerking. We're gonna bring Quavo up. It feels like, yo, the blacks are gonna love this. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it reminds me of that video years prior.
Let's not talk about how we're gonna change anything.
Right.
Let's just get Meg Thee Stallion up here twerking.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable for me because it's like that you could have had anybody come out there and, like, let's say if you wanted to change the performance, you could bring Beyonce out there. You could just sing. It got nothing to do with, provocative, songs or whatever the case may be, but that's not what the reality of the situation was. Furthermore, not leaning with policy, and then it seems as if they're just trying to emotionally manipulate the people.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
And it's bothersome. And it's not to say that you don't have people on the right that's doing the same, but it seems to be so much more overt from the left than it is from the right. And whether it be now, if you were to Google Trump's name, you see the first thing that pops up, you have like the Kamala Harris, Harris, Trump, all this other stuff. Then you have the compilation of video, because Elon Musk has been sharing a ton on whether it be in jest or a bunch of stuff on X, where now all of a sudden everybody's saying weird regarding Vance and everything of that nature. It's just very odd. Like and I think we talked about it before, where it's like the presidential race in the past, prior, like 2012 and back, it felt like, okay, it's about policy. Now it's all identity politics and emotion. It's like, what are we doing? Because this is the highest seat in America that's being on the docket here, and it's a clown show.
It is a clown show.
It's a clown show.
Yeah, and it's the way it's kind of panned out too. It's kind of like Trump gets shot, Biden's kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna win this. Let's put in someone, because Biden can't pander like that.
Right, because mere days, I think it was a difference of 9 days.
If you're two white guys, like Trump, Biden, it's two white guys.
Right,
facing,
right.
You can't play identity politics.
Right.
There. It's like you got to talk policy, and you're not going to go like just speech for speech with somebody that's kind of there and you're not there. Mm-hmm. With Kamala, she's a little bit younger, but also she has kind of like the cop-out of like, I'm a black woman.
Yeah, alleged. Because I find it very odd.
Were you a black woman when you were arresting all these people fucking 8 years ago, 10 years ago?
I mean, because the only thing is, like, if you were doing crime, then you were doing crime. But she was, like, if you talk to people who were in California, they absolutely, they absolutely despise her. And then when they asked if she smoked marijuana, she laughed. Yeah. But overall, my thing is, especially as it pertains to, like, okay, identity, right? Because truly, if we were to go and trace everybody back, the original man born in Africa. So essentially we're all African, right? But furthermore, if you want to play the game of The one drop rule is supposed to be a racist rule, but we use it when it's convenient. Because if somebody's grandparent just so happens to be black, well, it doesn't matter how much not inbreeding, but breeding amongst different places you go, well, that's what you're going to be because, well, I can trace this back.
So,
I've got a black person that's here.
Here's my thing. I to an extent, I'm liberal in the sense. I do think there is like systematic racism in America.
Yeah.
But I also do believe in a sense of accountability because I have a lot of black friends. I got black friends. Now, I got a lot of black friends. They're all doing really fucking good. You know, my best friend is black. That sounds so, all this. My daughter's black. My wife is black. No, my wife is black. My best friend is black. You're black. You guys are all doing really well. You guys are all doing really well. And you're not blaming any sort of system. You're not like, you're thinking for yourself. You're not up here like being like, oh, I just like twerking and stuff. Like you're a regular person. So it feels like a clown show. It'd be like, let's say they had like an Asian candidate for president. They went to a predominantly Asian area. Like, yo, we should get fucking Jeremy Lin to dribble the basketball. These Asians are gonna love it. Like, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's like you're going out of your way to try to find what do the people identify with, but you're not even really, I don't want to say targeting the pain points, but you're not really giving the policy that will provide said solution. Because here's my thing, and I've said this time and time again. If you were broke under Bush, you're broke under Obama, you're broke under Trump, you're broke under Biden. And now whoever wins, whether it be Harris or Trump, and you're still broke, I think the least of your worries should be who is the president of the United States. You have a problem. Because how many times have we seen, now granted, again, systematic racism does indeed exist within the country, but I think we can't look at it objectively. It almost has to go from a case-by-case basis because there are a ton of people who are, or I should say a ton of people who just are unmotivated to go move forward, or maybe they don't relocate, or whatever the case may be. There's a percentage of individuals who are held down, can't seem to go up the ladder. Like if you were to look in sports, there's a lot of people who's making a shit ton of money as a talent, but in ownership, you don't have that representation. But you can also band together, pool your resources together, start to acquire said franchises, and then build from there. There's always a loophole that exists in a bunch of different places. Yeah. But I think collectively to be like, well, this entire group over here is struggling because this is what's going. I think we just,
it becomes like people want like it's an us versus them mentality,
right?
Because people cling to that, you know,
right?
Like
but then within the us, there are classes from within the us.
I got a comment on my Instagram the other day. It was like on one of my ads, I think, and someone was like, oh, like he only does this for him and his people. He doesn't do it for he doesn't care about black people. And I was kind of like, what the fuck? That's crazy. And then I commented, my wife is black. Obviously, I hate using shit like that because it feels like I'm like using that as a thing. But it's like, it's so true. It's like, I don't care. Good business is good business. I'll do business with anybody, right? In the same way, I'll help anybody. I'll talk to anybody. But when you have a divisive, like, you don't, like, I'm not going to talk to you if you're like, oh, you don't care about black people. It's like, why the fuck would I talk to you? If that's what you think, then go do you. And you're like, you're segregating. Like, it's a very it's a non-unifying. I don't like any sort of like politics that's like divisive or non-unifying. You know?
Because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We're all pretty much just different shades of
2016 or 2020, one of the dumbest things I did, I supported Biden. I posted a little Biden thing because I didn't like the fact that Trump was like being divisive. You know, and I was rich already at that point, but I was like, nah, fuck, I don't really care about the money. I don't like the divisiveness in the country. But the more I look at it now, it's more divided now.
Yeah.
After 4 years.
Yeah.
Of Biden than it was with Trump.
Right.
You know?
Because let's just say, God forbid, if Trump had taken the bullet to the back of the head and went through and then went out the back and he died right there. No doubt in my mind, it'd be a civil war within the country. Yeah. No doubt in my mind, that would kick off a civil war in the country.
It's happening in Venezuela right now.
I would not be surprised. Like it's at a point now where truly, and again, to go back to what you said when somebody commented like, oh man, he doesn't care about black people. Let's just say if everything you did was to go and help black, the Asians would be like, oh, why don't you care about us? You go and you help out the Asians and the blacks. The Indians could come around and be like, yeah, man, you're not looking out for us. What the hell would I have to do? Nah, let me go and try to help. So if you help out a broad group of individuals, isolated groups are going to say, you're not focusing specifically on us. You focus specifically on a group. The outer groups will come back and be like, well, you're not helping us out. You're only in for this group. Maybe you're believing segregation. It's a terrible situation because ultimately you can't help everybody. The goal should be to unite, going way back to early episodes where it's like we're one America at the end of the day. Like whoever wins, it's like, okay, this side wins, this side wins. We have to find a way to work together. At this point, that's not even what's on the marquee. It's like ego that's happening right now. I just want my side to win. If my side loses, fuck you guys. We all going down. We'll sink the ship so that nobody wins.
Yeah.
So it's a terrible, situation to be in.
There's a solution to that.
There isn't, unless there's something that would have to force us to unite, which the conspiracy theorist is you're going to need some sort of attack to unite the country. And funny enough, and I don't think we talked about, since the assassination attempt on Trump, after he had went down, because I saw a bunch of people talking about, oh man, it's a conspiracy and everything. I believe it was an inside job, but I don't think it was something to where it was him orchestrating the same, because that'd be foolish, right? But for the image of this man standing up, fist in the air, immediate, that's got to be one of the most badass.
That's a banger.
And I thought, after seeing that, maybe people would unite around like, hold on, wait a minute. This is supposed to be a race for the presidency, and somebody's trying to take him out.
Reagan almost got
right. Yeah, it was Ronald Reagan. Yeah,
he won 48 states.
Yeah.
After that attempt, so this one it happened, and it seemed like people were like, they should have hit him. Why the fuck did they miss? Like,
Right,
that's wild.
and that was what was crazy for me. I'm like, hold on, because people were making fun of Joe and everything of that nature, right? But when he got COVID and it was like, oh, hold on, whoa, wait, mans might not survive. I saw a lot of people on the right making jokes. I'm like, hold on, this ain't right.
Yeah.
You ain't supposed to do this shit either. So the same way that people were joking like, oh man, they hope Trump got hit. Then they were joking on the other side, talking about, man, Biden might not, Trump survived the bullet, but Biden might not be able to survive his body. It's like, yo, yeah, I don't think people are actually interested in the well-being.
So I was thinking, right, when that happened, I was talking to my wife because she was like, babe, what happens if a civil war happens? And I'm thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? We're in a red state. I think we're good. Like, if there was a civil war, genuinely, I'm sorry, but like the
red states would win.
Yeah, the
red
left
states
side,
would
you're
win.
getting cooked.
Yeah.
The red states all have straps. They all got like these fucking like non-soy, like extra fucking toxic masculine dudes.
Well, those
family
exist
men.
on the left as well, but I don't think it's just as much.
Yeah,
I
the
think
left
it's-
is all about
Yeah.
peace and not harming until they
Yeah,
get
if
pissed off,
there's
and
a
then they're
civil
out
war-
burning buildings and doing all this shit. Then they're not so peaceful. Then
If there's a civil war, like, I don't know, I'm sorry. Like, y'all are
because
not
I
equipped.
think there's a delusion
I
behind
got like
war.
4 straps just in this house. Like,
Right,
how-
because since there hasn't been, I think there's a vast majority of people who hasn't actually experienced violence at that to where it's like it's you or me. I live, you die, or you die, I live kind of violence until it comes to the front door. It's like with war, it's almost like a video game to where people are desensitized. Like if somebody were to bring that American flag, like let's say if you had somebody who's in the armed forces, they bring the American flag to your door and you just lost a loved one, people who've experienced that are definitely not sitting around itching for like a fucking civil war or whatever. The people who's like, nah, if we're gonna fight, then we just gonna fucking fight. Like, I don't think they've really experienced what it's like.
They
And
don't
then
know what it's like,
furthermore, if it were to happen, you think it's gonna be a civil war, just hands? It's gonna be guns. Then if it's gonna be guns, who has the guns? Furthermore, who has the training? And then what is the number of each side? There's way more liberal women, but it's a ton of liberal women
Well,
and then a ton of conservative men.
If you look at all the voters, it's like almost every man in every state leans
more towards conservative,
and
right?
Almost every woman, I think it's like 56 of like liberal voters or something like that.
Yeah,
So
it's
crazy.
primarily
all women.
right.
So it's like
right.
it's a civil war.
And the
We know how
vast
that goes.
majority of the country is conservative. It's just those big
And
ass
he's like,
cities
what's
that's
wrong
more.
with being conservative, bro?
I
Like I
think-
don't like. There's nothing wrong with like wanting to have a family, believing in God, like wanting to work hard, wanting to put in an honest day's work, like not being a hoe, right? Like not fucking. I don't understand what the issue is here.
It's very odd. Even on like the side of liberal, I think there's they push it too far. I think there's too much extremists who have microphones that influence people's mind, because it's the vast majority of people who are on the fence or in the middle, constantly being swayed.
Okay, so like here's where I think it is. It's like there's most people are in the middle. I genuinely believe most people are kind of like both of us. We're kind of in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. But then you go too far right, and people are like, you shouldn't be allowed to be gay.
Right.
Execute gay people. You're like, oh, whoa, relax. Let's go back to the middle. But then you go too far left, and it's like, chop a child's dick off. It's like, well, okay, go back to the middle.
Yeah.
So it's like, no matter what side you sway to, it gets too extreme.
It's crazy. Like, even when they talk about with, and this one being a touchy subject regarding like women's rights and abortion, if it's up to the state, I actually have no issue with that, because if you can't do anything here, let's just say, no, I think in, let's say if in, what was the place that was it Arkansas or was it Alabama or something like that, to where it's like, nah, can't do nothing. Okay, cool. If that's the case and you can't do anything there, hop in a car, go to a different state, get something done over there. Well, what if you don't have the resources to do so? Well, you've got to do what you have to do. Then furthermore, given that it's such a smaller percentage of like the unfortunate, if it's a incest or I forget what the other one is.
Well, I think
incest
Florida, I
one,
love Florida.
One other
'cause
thing.
It seems like they have like pretty good
Right,
laws.
right,
Despite
but-
like Texas is completely red, so you can't have any abortions.
Right. So if a situation like that, if you have to go to a different state, there's still an option
I think that
that
is
is provided
about
for
There was
you.
an ad where it was like a girl was like going to driving to a different state to get an abortion, but then she gets caught, and they like send her to jail.
Oh,
it was like
yeah,
one of
they're
those like
yeah, they're running
scary
crazy ad kind of fear-mongering ads.
So I think Florida has a good setup for that.
Yeah, so I think if you have it set up to where it's by the state, you at least still have the option that exists there. But I find when you look on the other end, where it's like, okay, cool, you want to have abortion across the entire country. All right. I understand. I can understand why somebody would want to go and have abortion. Me personally, I don't necessarily believe in it, but I believe if that's what you want to have that right to do so, I completely support your right to do so. Now, when you have people who are celebrating, like, yeah, we get to, like, you're cheering at the fact that there's a bunch of babies getting murked. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Because there's legitimately articles where they were like, oh, well, it's increasing. This is good. We need to have less. We're overpopulating, all this other stuff. I'm like, do you recognize the realism behind what happens with people having abortions?
So I look at it like this, right? Personally, I don't believe in it, but I also don't believe in policing other people to do it.
My point exactly. I'm right there.
My thing is like at some point it is a baby. So I think when people say you could abort at any point, it's like crazy because like I like if a baby could survive without like babies could be born at 5 months old.
It was mother's life, so that's what it was: incest and the mother's life. Those are the three where I'd say.
But like a baby could be born at like 5 months old and survive.
Right,
so
prematurely.
You cannot abort that baby. That's a baby. If it can survive outside the
because if you got into a car accident, it's
I think Florida,
you hit somebody, it could be a double
rule where it's like 13
manslaughter
weeks or something, or 12 weeks. So it's like I don't see like let's say you get super unfortunate, sad. Like if that happens, like go fucking have an abortion. Like it's fine.
Right.
But then fucking if you're pregnant and you decide 4 months in, you're like, I don't want it. Let me get rid of it. It's like, yo.
Because the vast majority, they had the statistics where it's like the vast majority of abortions isn't even in the case of mother's life is in danger or incest. It's like, well, kind of didn't want to be a mother right now. This isn't good for me financially, or I changed my mind or something of that nature. It's like, this is a very important decision. You can't just fucking, all right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and go with it. Like there's some people, some of these women who are legitimately, you've got 4, 5, 6 abortions. Like, well, are you so sexually irresponsible to where you're just fucking, all right, bust a nut up inside me and bam, let's go over to the clinic, or so like there's a lot of sexually irresponsible people.
This is the craziest part because women be like, not my fault that the guys do it. It's like it is because you're the one letting them.
Exactly, because you choose who you sleep with.
I've never heard like a woman when she gets like, let's say she gets pregnant by an NBA player. Lana Rhoades, the porn star, she got pregnant by an NBA player. That bitch is set for life.
Yep.
She got child support checks, $50,000 a month, forever. She's not complaining. She's not like, oh, they're complaining because they let some broke dude fucking nut on them. And then now they're like, oh, I'm on an abortion because this dude can't control
And
it.
furthermore,
like, if he was rich, you'd be like, I'm keeping the baby. It's my baby.
Exactly, because most situations, and this is why I think it's always going to be a case-by-case basis, and they have to be really real about the conversation, where if you had a woman who slept with an absolute bum, right? You just had the urge, had to get your rocks off. Use a condom. All right, if the condom breaks, all right, cool, there's plan
but like
B.
Because it's like guys will take it off, so they'll
right,
blame the guy.
now, but here's the thing. If
it's
a
your
dude
fault for
takes it
sleeping with
off,
the dude.
that's stealthing. That's against the law. You can't do that in certain states. That's stealthing. That they actually have a
what?
terminology for it.
He's
Stealthing.
been looking it up. He's like, yo, so what if I just take
No,
it off?
I found out about this in stealthing back
Stealthing.
in when did I learn about this? 2018, 2019,
It's
around that
against
time.
the law?
It's against if you're on, hey, you guys consented to have sex, but it was supposed to be under the grounds of y'all
I
having
think that's too
protection.
difficult.
That dude takes his condom off and then he busts the nut up inside you. You ain't consent to that portion. You were taken advantage of. There could be a buyer's remorse situation, but again, this is why it's important that
but the thing is,
you
let's say it's hard to prove that because like let's say you go to court.
incredibly difficult to prove that.
You go to court.
Incredibly
a girl
difficult
could
to
just
prove
say that. Oh, but I'm like, no, she said it was fine.
Right, but then
it's he said, she said. And
that's
then,
where it's like a he said, she said kind of situation. But ultimately, there is a terminology for selfing. But this is why I think there's incredibly sexually irresponsible people who exist. For dudes, you'll go and you'll stick your dick inside anybody, and you're not vetting the woman who you're sleeping with. Then furthermore, the women, you're not vetting the guys who you're sleeping
no,
with.
I think
There
the
needs to
issue
be
is-
much stricter. And this is again, it's
The
you
issue
can't
is
do it to where you
broke
can be like,
dudes have
hey, you
nothing
guys
to
got to
lose.
do better
Like,
to have
no,
sex. But
if you're a broke dude, you're like, oh, I'm gonna bust in her because I got nothing.
my
like,
point
I got nothing
exactly.
to lose.
So if
like
you're
for me personally, every time I've slept with any woman, I like always I'm very very careful because I'm
Right.
like I got
you've got something to lose.
I got a lot to lose. I got a lot of money.
Right.
I got a lot of resources that are not gonna be all given to this person
Yeah.
if we have a child. You
Before
know?
you were married, of course.
Before I was married, yeah. So like, rich guys, they tend to be more careful. They're not just busting like that.
Well, at least they appear
ones-
to be.
The ones that are just busting like that are the ones that are fucking broke.
Right. And then even still in those
Or even if they
situations,
don't, like Future or Nick Cannon, they don't do that shit, but they take care of all their kids. Like Nick Cannon's paying for all
well,
his kids.
financially the kids are taken care
Well, yeah,
of.
that's what I mean. But the
yeah,
girls,
they're not.
but the girls
yeah.
aren't over here like the worst is when you see a mother that's like I don't really feel as bad. I still feel bad for like single mothers. I had a single mother, but when they're financially provided for and they don't have to work and they get to take care
Yeah,
of the
because
kids,
at that point now they're picking at straws, but they want to keep a particular kind of lifestyle.
yeah,
like I
it's
think
not-
Rick
it's not that
Ross's
bad.
child's mother is doing that, where I think their son had just like he's going to college now. She's talking about she wants $200,000
Yeah.
to cover the I think equipment fees or something of that nature for him to play in college. But you were getting about like 20, 30 some grand a
Yeah.
month. What are you doing
So
with that money? So
that I feel
right.
bad still, but because it's shitty, but it's also not as bad as like the worst is when you see a single mom. Because my mom was a single mom, she struggled.
Mm-hmm.
She had to work to provide for her 2 kids. Because she fucking let a bum give her a baby, you know. So
And I think there needs to be accountability that exists there too, because the moment that this is the product, like you're bringing forth a child in
I
a
think-
terrible position. I don't want to say there needs to be a mass amount of shame, but somebody has to have a real conversation like, hey, listen, okay, you made a mistake, but I need you to understand you made this mistake. It's on you. It's not, oh, well, circumstances of life, I was horny and then, I had to
Yeah.
get my rocks off. No. You made the unilateral decision to go and sleep with this person. Furthermore, you made the unilateral decision to sleep with this person unprotected. Then after you had this, you find out that you were pregnant, you made the unilateral decision to go and take this baby to term. Now this baby is here. You made the lateral decision to not give the kid up for adoption. And now you're here. This is the product and consequence from your choices. And then for dudes, if you end up with a woman who's pretty much pillaging you for your finances and your goddamn resources, you made the decision to lay down with that woman. You made the decision to not properly vet what would happen if in the event this happened. You made the decision to not have the conversation about, hey, if in the event you were to mess around and get pregnant, what the hell is the plan moving forward? So there needs to be an element of shame and accountability that's held to these individuals, in my opinion,
I
because
agree with
it's
everything you're saying.
bullshit that you have so many people who making it seem as if they're a victim from life when they willfully contributed to where it is that they at.
But I think that's where it gets conflated with bullying. Because we're talking about politics right now, this episode. I know our audience said they don't like politics at all, so we
Right.
probably shouldn't be going down this rabbit hole. But like, that's why like the left, their main thing is like bullying. Because I agree with you. I think if people make bad decisions, you should shame them for their bad decisions so they learn from it. It's like touching a stove. If it's fucking hot,
Right.
oh, let me not touch it no more. The issue is with the left, they want no consequences for anybody so they could do whatever they want. So if they make a bad decision, oh, it's not your fault, don't worry. And they if someone shames you, they're bullying you. They're a bigotry, you know? So I don't know. It's one of those things where I believe there should be accountability. There should be repercussions to your actions because in most of the world there is.
Yeah.
But people want a society with no repercussions, which is crazy because that's not how life works.
Yeah, it's like
Life is
what,
supposed to be a little bit hard to an extent.
Because even with relationships now, where you have a bunch of relationships that are failing, the divorce rate is still over 50%. Now, granted, it's started to go down, but it's still over 50%. And I think because there's a cop-out of knowing that you can mess around and divorce like that, oh, it doesn't work out, people don't have the willfulness to try.
Right.
It's like you have a bunch of these relationships where you get married when you're in that honeymoon phase. Everything's great. You've never actually had a legitimate disagreement, an argument with your spouse now. So the moment that things start to get tough, you have no checks and balances in place. You have no structure, no plan. Shit hits the fan, and now you're like, oh, well, I'm out.
Yeah.
And the divorce before used to be something that was shame. Now, granted, if you're being abused, then you should be in a situation where you get
now, like,
out.
single
But
motherhood
now
is the
it's
highest
like
it's ever been, bro.
it's steadily increasing. It makes absolutely no sense.
Crazy.
Where people they're wearing it like a badge of honor.
It's fucked up because
it's weird, man.
The people that this affects the most is the kids.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause I was a kid with a single mother, and it was fucking shitty. So it's like people don't think about their kids. I told like my wife, my daughter will never, like, no matter what, she's always gonna have two loving parents, no matter what. Even if we don't get along or disagree, she's still gonna have both of us in her life.
Right.
There's never gonna be a situation where we're fucking like, you're a single mother ever, because that ruined. Shout out to you for clapping. But like, cause that's what fucks kids up. Because I could have easily been fucked up had I not been a psychopath that continuously just, give me more spicy shit. And I was just a regular person that surrenders in the face of adversity. I would have never had any sort of success in my life. You see it with my brother. It's really sad. He was faced with hard tasks. He gives up and he just kind of like crushes under the pressure. So when people have single parents, it makes their life 10 times harder. And obviously some people make it out of it and break generational curses, but then other people, they just perpetuate the cycle.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the statistics, children of single parent households, but primarily single mother households, you have the highest percentage of felons.
Yep.
You have the highest percentage of just criminal, anything
It's
of
mostly
that
guys,
nature.
too.
Yeah, it's most.
Because if you're a man, you don't have a dad who's going to teach you how to be a man.
Exactly, because you don't have that healthy form of masculinity. And another reason why I think that there's a lot of foolishness in the conversation is we acknowledge that these children need their fathers, right? And there's an absence of the masculinity that's there. But by that same tune, for you saying, oh, the single parent household, because it's lacking the masculinity, that's why the children are failing. You also have to acknowledge that whatever it is that the women are trying to instill into these children are failing. It's not working. It's the same, because you can't have one without the other.
No, I think
You can't have one without the other.
It's a weird combination of things. I think it's mostly because of the world we live in now, where women think they can do better, so they're like, I'm gonna be shitty to this dude. Like, if a woman doesn't treat a dude right, the dude leaves. Now you have a single household.
100%.
Right? Dudes, if you look at it, most divorces, dudes don't initiate divorce. It's
They don't.
mostly women that initiate divorce.
80% of divorces initiated by women.
So, because guys are relatively happy. Now, guys may fuck up because they might cheat. They might, like, do something stupid, which is why women might initiate the divorce. But at the same time, it's like guys will never, if they have a woman and a family, they typically don't tend to leave their family or abandon their family. They take care of their family no matter what. Now, given they might, again, if they might
Well,
cheat
it's
on their wife,
instructed to.
but
There
they
are
still
some that
take
don't.
care of their
Right.
family because they know
Right.
what the response. Like, they always prioritize their family before all their other shit in their life, you know? So it's like, I don't know. I look at it and it's kind of like, it's a weird, fucked up place we live in with single moms, man. Sad.
Yeah. I mean, to that note, though, I will say they'll take care of their family in like the most basic means as in financial. But some guys, because there was this guy, a divorce lawyer, that said that statistic about most women initiate divorce. Yeah, because they've gone through years of just a shitty partner that they're like, I can't fucking take it anymore. And the guy is like, I don't want to get divorced. I don't want to go through all that. I'm also being the aggressor. I'm the one making your life miserable. So why the hell would I initiate divorce?
Right. So it's like with those.
So women are like, they'll stay until
Valid
they'll
point.
be like, fuck that.
Valid point.
I can't
Right.
do this anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm leaving. You're
Right.
a piece of shit.
Right.
It's-
Hence
yeah.
why with that number, although it's primarily women who are leaving, there's much more reasons as to why it is that it's happening. And it goes back to
Man, you know what? I
with-
think we should just live in like little communities again of like 100 people where the village raises the
Actually,
child.
yes, but then the problem is there's
That'd be
been
much
too
better.
much damage that's done to the societal structure to where we don't even value community. Like, you ever seen somebody who's obviously crying out for help, but when the help comes, they don't want the help? That's ultimately where
That's
we
a
are
Drake
now.
bar.
That's legitimately where
That's
we
a
are
Drake
now.
bar. He said, I saw a girl who was crying out for help, but our latest caption says "Leave me alone."
Yeah.
I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
that's
it's
a great
like
bar.
you don't
true.
want the help, because we would benefit incredibly from having people band together and raise the children, as a unit. Whether you're in a single family household or you're in a 2-parent household, you should be able to have trust in your neighbor to look after your child.
It takes a village.
It takes a village to be able,
because
because really think about it.
So, yeah.
If you move, let's just say if you're somebody who's introverted, you're more secluded, or you're more reserved, you move miles away from your family. You now we're going to start a family over here. You never converse with your neighbors. You never go and make no friends. Nothing. Your child is so sheltered, they're not going to know how to function in the real world, because the real world is about what? People.
Community, people.
And community. So now, because you didn't instill community into your family structure, you don't value community, well, now, who's going to look out for you? Nobody. Who are you looking out for? Nobody. Just within your damn family structure, and nobody gives a shit. Like, it's a weird backwards time that we're living in. And it's
People are-
hard to make sense
Like,
of
we're
it.
surrounded by more people than ever, but we're more alone than ever. It's a
100%.
weird, yeah.
100%. It's so
wild.
bizarre. Like, I prioritize just like saying good morning to people, saying good evening to people, saying how are you doing?
Did you
What's
see-
your day going like?
Did you see this thing? It's crazy. It looked like a fucking Black Mirror episode. There's a new product that's gonna hit the market. It's called Friend. It's called Friend. It's literally friend.com. It's a fucking necklace that listens to your entire day. It's like a Black Mirror episode. And you press the button on it to talk to it, and it'll text you. So it's like you have like a, yeah, look, he's looking at it right now. So it's like you have like a little, show him the trailer. Can we put the trailer up on here during the thing? It's a fucking little like AI chatbot that just listens to their entire day conversation, so it gets to know them. And then because it has all their information, it just acts like their friend.
That's crazy.
And you build memories with it. So the craziest part, which is kind of crazy, if it breaks, you can't restore your friend. It's like your friend dying. Or you lose it, it's gone forever. So it's literally like you build this attachment to this product, and it's like your fucking
I
friend.
don't know how to woo very good. That's fair. All right, let's go.
Let me show you how to game, bro, okay? Oh, come on, come on. Oh, let's go!
Are you serious? Come on, man. I hate this game.
Take notes, baby.
Oh man, you guys suck.
Bro, you look like the back
Let's
of the
go. Let's go.
Dude, what? How did you do that?
I know the effects are crazy. It's dank. I could eat one of these every day. Oh, sorry, I got you messy.
It's really nice up here. How'd you find this place?
I don't know. I just kind of like to come up here to be by myself. I've never brought anybody else. I mean, besides her.
She goes everywhere with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guess I must be doing something right then.
I guess so. We'll see.
It's fucking terrifying.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's where we're at right now in society.
No.
People don't want to talk to other people because of egos, because of this, because of that. So they wear a little fucking AI robot on their chest. That's their friend.
That's depressing as fuck.
What the fuck, bro?
That's depressing as fuck. Like, legitimately, that's depressing. I am saddened. Like, this actually really bothers me. I did not think I would.
It looks like a fucking
I
sci-fi
did not
movie.
think you're pressing this to be a replacement for a friend, and there's no actual emotion that's attached to that. You know how many people will probably utilize this as a cop out?
Guess how much?
$69.
I know the price is $99.
Yeah, it's $100.
$100.
So you pay $100, you get this little shit, and then you just.
And
press
now
it it
clumsy
texts you.
people
But
are
I'm
gonna
sure
mess
it's a
around.
prescription, a subscription model.
Oh, without question, there's gonna be a subscription. Oh, if
don't
you
pay,
break
it fucking
yours,
starts bullying you.
Your friend.
right?
You don't
It knows
pay.
everything about you. Starts bullying you.
You don't pay like it hold. Like someone holds it hostage. Like, please help. Pay the subscription. They're gonna kill me.
You know what's
That's
gonna be
crazy.
wild? There's going to be people who go to parties and it's just going to be friend parties, but it's going to be the party with the necklace. So you just pull up, you're listening to music, everybody's just going to be interacting with themselves. Why would I spend all my time talking to my own shadow?
Goes to a party has a fucking friend necklace. I'll tell you that right now. Like, only losers are going to buy that shit.
Yeah,
no
100%.
fucking, like, one of us is going to get that.
That is.
If I'm at a party and this motherfucker's wearing a friend thing, he's 100% getting bullied. There's no, come on.
Stuff like that. And even like this in today's social media age, there's a lot of bad shit that's out there. Like, understandably so.
Yeah, for sure.
However, if there's anything that was established by way of social media, there is a community for literally everybody.
Yep.
Because nothing is held in secret no more. You into feet, there's a community for you. You just like living inside the basement and playing video games, there's a community for you. You love erotic books, there's a community for you. You like a man bun, there's a community for you. You like white t-shirts, there's a community for you. There's literally communities for everything under the sun.
People make that their whole thing.
Right, they make it, not only is it their identity, or I should say, not only is it like a hobby or something, it becomes their entire identity. And this is what I am. It becomes who I am.
Because the thing is, people
and
are
they take it too
multifaceted.
far.
They're like, you're a lot of things. Like, I like basketball, but I'm not. I know people that make their entire fucking life basketball. And if you love it, that's great. But like, people have other interests.
Right. Like,
you know?
I am, what I am is I am a YouTuber. I am a comedian. But it's not who I am.
You're not deep in the YouTube community, only talking to YouTubers.
Right, like
YouTube
that's not
friends
my,
only.
right. Like I have a life outside of this.
100%.
I have more to offer the world and myself than just what I do. Too often than not, you have people where they really have no identity, so they kind of psyop themselves into thinking, well, this thing that I like, well, this is who I am. When it's not.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be one of the most depressing shit I ever seen in my life, man.
Yeah, I know that.
That's gonna have me up at like fucking 4 a.m. bro.
The fact that that's a thing, it's like wild. And I feel like all the inventions, because here's the thing, that's like a money. I feel like it's a money grab because people are gonna buy it because they're lonely.
Yep.
And it goes back to what I'm saying. You're surrounded by people, but you're more alone than ever.
That is great. They're gonna
Sad,
give that
bro.
to children. That's what's
Sad,
that's
bro.
how I identify straight out the gate. The first people who you're gonna have the people who are complete loners, but then they're going to immediately go towards the children. Because if you have people who want to be isolated, you don't want to meet nobody, you really don't want to have people commune in other places, you're gonna give that necklace to children, and you'll be like, oh well, here's your friend. You talk to this.
Yeah.
And then you're going to grow up and have no social skills and be unprepared for the fucking world.
I genuinely think that there has to be like a big change, or else we're going in a weird direction, man. But I hate to end this on a negative note. Can we talk about a positive topic before we wrap this thing up?
Yes.
What you got for us, Dave? I hate it because I'm shortening his name at this point. Now I'm calling you both Dave. David.
Fred.
Let's see. Happy news. Happy news. Happy news. Hold on.
News is hardly. I know that's crazy, right?
I know it's so hard to find happy news.
Happy news there's never happy news because people like these fucking negative ass scary things.
I can just, you know what? I'll just end it with like a happy video of a dog or something. I'll just
Happy
cut.
video of a dog. All right.
Yeah. Put on an animal or something of that nature to try to bring up the vibe. Because I'm not gonna hold you, man. This is very sad.
Sad, right?
That's very sad. Because now it's just running through my mind
It's
what
so
things.
crazy.
Because on the surface, people will be like, man, this is great. Watch what happens when you run the data from 25 years. I think too often people think short term is months when it's not. Short terms really is a decade or two to really identify something being short term. Long term is like 30, 40, 50 some years down the line, especially with a social experiment like this. Man, this is about to be a bad situation. Because look what social media has done to society in really 15 years of being at the forefront. It's been out for like 20 plus. You had forums in the 90s, early 2000s. Facebook taking off along with MySpace in the early to mid 2000s. But I believe 2008, 2009 up until now, social media has really started to reach its apex. And look at the damage it's done just to people's psyches.
Yeah.
Now you introduce a virtual friend who comes with you anywhere, and if it breaks, your friend dies.
I mean, I'd be walking around those fan parties just killing people's friends, just grabbing the shit off their neck.
Oh, man. There's going to be somebody who's
So
doing
much
it.
trauma.
There's going to be some people who do it. Could you imagine? Oh, no, that's going to take it too dark.
Just
We
start
ain't going
killing all
there.
their friends.
We ain't going there. That
I'm
one's
sure
take
someone's going to
too
make it
dark.
their girlfriend. I think
Yeah.
what they're going to add to that is they're going to add like a video component where
Yep.
you could talk to them video. And it's going to be one of these AI avatars.
It goes
And
back
then
to the whole
the dudes are
the
going to
AI
get freaky
girlfriend.
with their fucking little friend
AI
bot.
girlfriend. This is literally talk to your own shadow. And what happens if your phone battery dies? Now you press the joint. What happens? Nobody's talking to you. It's on, but ain't nobody there.
Sad.
Exactly.
It never was.
Oh my Lord! The rain. I feel bad for the individuals who happen to have like a mentally ill situation. This is going to be a quite interesting experiment. Well, one way or another, let it be known in the comment section what you guys think of this friend, shadow, invisible friend, that will be coming soon. As soon as when? Next year? Maybe this year?
Probably end of this year.
Who
next year.
knows? Also, what do you think of identity politics and what's going on in the country?
That's crazy.
You let it be known inside the chat, because people would probably
What's up,
forget.
chat? Make sure you drop it in the comments.
Right.
What are your thoughts on identity politics?
Right, because we covered a number of different things, but my
Yeah.
God, it was just one of those like brain dumping
This is what,
kind
one
of
of those
situations,
episodes,
man.
man.
Yeah, it's just wow, man. I'm blown away. Friend, I legitimately never seen that until just now, and I am depressed. Q1 of 2025. Wow. So we are
Well, by 10 of them.
we're less than half the year away. We're less than half a year away. People are going to be doing giveaways for this shit.
For sure.
But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this has been yet another episode of the Assiduous Podcast. I am your host, founder, chairman of Hold My Nuggets Incorporated, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the chiseled Adonis, my co-host to my right, your left. He is the
Serial
proprietor,
entrepreneur. Oh.
serial entrepreneur, host, owner, founder of Lacan.
Advertisement, social media
Lacan
deal finder,
Advertisement,
Unlimited,
Yep.
Renee Lacan
All of
LLC.
That. All of that. I figured we'd just throw out the LLCs and
Yeah.
S corps that are out there. Serial entrepreneur, Renee Lacan.
Tycoon.
Tycoon. And we are Assiduous.
Cue the dog video.